Welcome to Module 19. By this stage, we've gone through most of the New Testament. We've looked at the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. We've looked at the Johannine literature, which is the Gospel of John, the letters of John, and the Revelation of John. And we've discussed some of the issues that are connected with them in terms of authorship, in terms of date of authorship, etc., etc. We've also then looked at the Pauline corpus, or the Pauline literature, the groups of letters that are part of what we usually ascribe to the Apostle Paul. And so there we've looked at the bunch of letters that are connected with them. What's left now in the New Testament are sometimes known as the general epistles or the general letters, sometimes even known as the Catholic letters. Now, of course, the word Catholic here doesn't refer to the Roman Catholic Church, but rather Catholic, which comes from the Greek word Katholikos, which means universal. Now, essentially what that means is that these are letters which are written not to any specific place, but rather more generally to the church at large. And so what's left now are the letters of Peter, so 1 and 2 Peter, the book of Hebrews and James, and also the letter of Jude. And so these are the ones that are remaining in the canon as we have it today. What we need to see in this module is we're going to go through each of those particular general or Catholic epistles, but then we're also going to look at some of what's called the lost Gospels. We're not going to spend a lot of time with them, but we're going to be spending a little bit of time thinking about the concept of these books which didn't make it into the New Testament. And then finally, the last clip for this module will be to look at then the canon as a whole and to understand how we got to this concept of canon. Some of that you may remember from the intensive, the New Testament intensive, where we discussed some of that progress or that development of canon. And so just to finish off this section of New Testament, we're going to finish with that same exploration, or looking again at that exploration of the putting together of the canon, or an authorized version of what should be the New Testament. This module is to look at some of these smaller books, often the ones which are ignored, but often have something important to tell us, not only in terms of teaching us about what Christ would have us know, but also in terms of the early church and the development of the early church, and most of all, the diversity of thinking and of understanding within that early church. So come and join with me as we go through these books in Module 19.